Hi, in this video, we will go over assigning GitHub Copilot licenses only for users who would like to leverage GitHub Copilot outside of the GitHub platform. If you have already set up SSO for your GitHub tenant and you have an Azure subscription already configured and added, you are now ready to leverage GitHub Copilot. Remember that you could leverage GitHub Copilot on the GitHub platform, which gives you additional capabilities. However, in this video, we are going over only Copilot licenses. If you are interested in Copilot capabilities plus GitHub, please review the GitHub Enterprise plus Copilot video, where we assign both licenses together. Again, in this video, we are going over scenario 3, which is GitHub Copilot only, where your developers can leverage GitHub Copilot in your IDE. This is ideal if you have source code not on GitHub and on another source control platform such as Azure DevOps or Bitbucket. Let's take a look. As a GitHub admin, I have two objectives. First, I would like to make sure I synchronize the group I have created for my Copilot users in my Entra ID with GitHub. And second, I would like to assign and configure Copilot for my tenant to this group. Let's first create the group, which in GitHub is called a team, and synchronize it. I will navigate to People and Enterprise Teams. I will create an enterprise team and I will name the team whatever makes sense. Typically, something along the lines of GitHub Copilot users. After creating the name, I can optionally add a description, and then I can manage how my members are added. I will select Identity Provider Group, and you can see here that a dropdown appears and shows two groups. These are groups that are created in my Entra ID tenant. Remember from the previous SSO video that these groups were assigned to the enterprise application for GitHub. This is a prerequisite. If you have any questions, refer back to that SSO video. I will select the GitHub Copilot users group, and then I will create the enterprise team. With the team created and the group synchronized, all I have to do now is refresh, and I can see the members from my group synchronized to this team. Now, I am ready to activate Copilot for my tenant and assign it to this team. To do this, I will navigate to Billing and Licensing. And on the left-hand side of this Billing and Licensing page, I will select Licensing. Here you can see I can manage licensing for different components of my GitHub, including Enterprise Cloud for source code management, Advanced Security for those who need DevSecOps covering them, and Copilot, of course. I will click on the green button, Enable Copilot. Now that Copilot is enabled, I have different options on managing Copilot licenses. I can manage which organizations have access to Copilot. However, once again, this is not relevant to me as my source code is not on GitHub and organizations are used for source code. You have more capabilities with GitHub and Copilot together on the GitHub platform. In my case, however, I just want my developers to use it on another source code platform, such as Azure DevOps, for example. I can assign licenses directly to users. Best practice, however, for those who have configured SSO is to leverage enterprise teams. And so I will select enterprise teams. I will scroll down, and on the right, I will select to assign licenses to this enterprise team. I will search for the team that I have created just earlier. And you can see that my team, which which, if you remember, is synchronized to the Entra ID group, is available here. I will select this team, I will review, and I will confirm that I want to add GitHub Copilot business licenses to this team. Now that GitHub Copilot has been assigned to my users, the only final step is to configure policies. Before we do, however, you can always navigate back to this page and check how many members have access to GitHub Copilot. You might want to give it a couple of minutes, up to 10-15 minutes, for the consumed licenses to synchronize and update here. I will navigate now to policies to configure the access and features that are available for Copilot to my users. So I will go to policies in the top middle. I will navigate to Copilot on the left. And you can see here that I have different policies that I can configure. I can configure content exclusions for users or for use cases where I don't want Copilot to see specific files. I can configure the models that Copilot has access to. And so if I click on this button, I will be shown all models that I can activate for my users, such as Anthropic's Claude model series, Google's Gemini model series, OpenAI models, and even XAI. The recommendation is to enable all these models or as many as you can, depending on your GitHub Copilot plan, so that your developers can test with different models in their own individual workflows and for their teams. I will navigate back to Copilot for my policies. And if I scroll down, I will see different features that I can enable or disable as well, such as Copilot in github.com or Copilot in the IDE. This one in particular is important as your developers will mostly be interacting with Copilot in the IDE if you are not using the GitHub platform. I can also configure other things like MCP servers and which MCP servers are allowed. Now that my configuration is complete, my users have been added. I have now completed the assignment of licenses to my GitHub Copilot only users, and I can decide to add more users in the future should I want to.